Now, more than half of your lending is in mortgages, as far as I understand. Given that you might be expecting house prices to fall on rising unemployment due to COVID-19, how big a drop do you anticipate, and has that been fully integrated into the impairments?
Well, good morning. Thank you for that. Let me just say a few words about the result, and that is that Swedbank's underlying business is solid, but in a quarter with a record fine from the Swedish FSA, we deliver a negative result. If you look on our mortgage portfolio, it's a very steady portfolio. Half of our loans are into the mortgages to private people, and we've had a very low losses that during the history, and it's a very solid portfolio.
Can we pursue the line of questioning? Jens, good morning to you. It's Manus. Your credit impairments, you pre-announced at 2.2 billion. It's tough for you to give estimates. I want to dig a little bit into the oil component. 800 million is what you told us. Do you expect that to rise demonstrably? In other words, in size, and if so, about how much?
Well, I'm not going to give you any forecast of that. I can just tell you that out of those 2.2 billion in credit impairments, 800 comes from the oil sector, and then the rest of it comes from that we are looking into the new rule book, and we're saying, okay, let's do provisions for this. These are losses that have not yet materialized.
Okay, so in terms of guidance that you can give then as we go forward, so by the end of the year, what we understand from what you said this morning, you expect further progress in the US investigations, Jens. Do you have enough capital to pay a big fine and provide the loans that your customers need at this critical time? And if not, what happens to the dividend?
Well, we have a very strong capital situation and a very good liquidity situation. And this quarter, we've handled the fine from the Swedish authorities. One thing that is good about the past quarter is that we now can put our history behind. So we've delivered the Clifford Chance report. We've got the verdict from the Sweden and Estonian FSA. So in that sense, I think we're in the beginning of the end. Now, this means that the U.S. authorities can look on the report, looked on the FSA, and that means that I'm hopeful that we now can start talking more with the U.S. authorities.
Do you have any indication of the scale of financial charge that might be taken from the American authorities? Is there any guidance that you can give to us in that regard? No, I don't. Well, there you go. Not much guidance really in this discussion. What about the what about the investors in terms of the funds that we understand have been pulled from the bond funds, 2.3 billion? Have you seen any return of that?
So what we've seen is that our net interest income is actually rising because we see more demand from loans, but we've seen that our incomes from net commission has gone down, and they're roughly the same.